All right. Now, we just finished learning about a coil and making a coil. So let's talk about add-ons to our pottery. So anytime you make a piece of pottery, you might want to add something on it to really give it character and make it unique and make it personable for you. Now this little heart I made separate from the pinch pot, and then I put it on my pinch pot, but you want to bond it to the pot so that it becomes a part of the pot, and when it dries it will not fall off. So for example, we have a nose, we have cheeks, we have eyebrows, we have a mouth. All of these things are separate pieces that were created and then placed onto the pottery. But in order to keep it from falling off, you have to do something specific, and I'm going to teach you how to do that now. Now this is another example of lips being added, eyes added, and eyelashes have been added. Now eyelashes were added, but when it dried, the eyelashes fell off because this student did not do one special thing, and that special thing is called slipping and scoring. And you will hear me ask you that a million times. Did you slip and score? Did you slip and score? So when I ask you that, don't get upset, because I'm just checking, because if you do not do this step of slipping and scoring, your pieces may fall off. Okay, so we're going to start with a little piece of clay. Some of you may want to roll out your clay. It's important to know how to roll out the clay. Some students want to put the roller on and they want to press hard and they want to roll back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And what's happening is the molecules in the clay quit moving after a certain period of time. So you might be pressing and rolling, but the clay is going nowhere. So you need to pay attention to what's happening to your clay while you are rolling the clay. So I'm going to start with just a sphere, but it's not a perfect sphere. I'm going to lay it on a dry spot of my newspaper. Again, we do not want it to stick to the newspaper. Then when I lay my roller on it, I want to make sure that the sphere is in the center of the roller, and I'm not going to use the handles. I'm actually going to put my hands on this part of the roller, and I'm going to roll front to back, and notice that my clay changed, so I know that was productive, and I only need to do 2 or 3 rolls back and forth. Then I want to change direction. So if I was going this way, I'm going to turn my roller 180, and I'm going to roll the other way 2 or 3 times, and I'm seeing my clay move. That is a plus. That's a positive. I want to stop, and that's all I need to do. Then I'm going to pick up my newspaper, and I'm going to peel off the clay. That keeps, if we don't peel it off and we use our fingers, we're going to change our clay. So we want to peel it off of the newspaper, and my newspaper is wet, so I'm going to find a different spot. And then I'm going to think about, okay, this is oval and this part's a little thicker than that part, so I kind of want to start on this side and put more pressure on the thicker part of this clay, and it moved just a little. And then I'm going to peel it and I'm going to flip it. And what's going to happen is you're going to get it's going to get thinner and thinner. Now for an add-on, this is really good right here. We don't want to go any thinner for our add-on. This is a good thickness for our add-on. We'll lay it there. Let's say that we want to add on a circle. So I'm just going to cut out a circle or draw a circle first. It's not a perfect circle, is it? I can always smooth it up after I cut it out. And I'll take my little knife tool and cut this out. If you want a perfect circle, you can find a bottle cap or something like that to make a perfect circle, but you don't have to. Then I'm going to peel off the extra, pick up my little circle, and I'm going to use my hands to smooth that circle out. Now remember, this goes for every add-on that you do, whether it's a coil, whether it's a heart, whether it's eyebrows, whether it's a nose, whether it's cheeks, whatever it is you're adding on, a rose, if you're adding on a flower, if you're adding on arms, if you're adding on feet, whatever, you have to slip and score. Now if this is where I want this circle to be on my pinch pot, then I'm going to lightly make a mark where my circle will be positioned on the clay. What we're getting ready to do is bond this piece to the pinch pot. So I'm going to take my needle tool, and these tools are very, very fragile. They are very sharp on this end. And because it is sharp, it's easy to get bent. We want to make sure we don't bend the end of our needle tool for lots of reasons. One, if you bend it, it's going to end up scraping your skin and hurting your skin. If you bend it, it won't work properly. So we want to make sure we take really good care of our needle tools. We never ever want to cut with our needle tool, because when you cut with a needle tool, you're pressing all the way through the clay onto the table, and then it bends and messes up the end of our needle tool. So don't cut with your needle tool. Cut with your knife tool. All right, so we're going to take our needle tool and we're going to scratch up the surface of this clay. Now this scratching that we're doing is called scoring. So go one direction, then go the other. What's happening is we're roughing up the clay. Then we're going to take our circle and we're going to decide, okay, I want this side showing, this is the side I'm going to attach. And we also want to rough up this side, or score this side. Now we've created little Velcro pieces, and you know that Velcro fits together like this. And what we want to do is for the clay to come together like this, so that those clay molecules link together and then they can't come apart, so that when it dries and hardens, it's not going to fall off of your piece. Then we're going to take something called slip. This is called slip because it's mostly water with a little bit of clay. And the little clay particles that are in that water are going to help bind these two pieces together. So we just wet our fingers a little like that. Put a little bit of slip there and a little slip here, and notice that it's falling into the little crevices that we dug out. Now when I put my circle on, I want to give it a couple twists, and what's going to happen is you're going to feel it get stuck. And that's the Velcro piece, or the magic of bonding the two together. And then you take your finger and you can smooth it out, and now your little button or your circle or whatever you want to call it is now a part of your piece of pottery. So those little eyelashes that fell off of this guy, they were never bonded to the gnome, so they fell off once they dried. You don't want anything you create to fall off, so make sure you slip and score every add-on that you do. I also want to show you how to slip and score for a piece of pottery if you want to give it a footing and you want to use a coil. You can use a coil as a footing for a cup or a mug or a flower pot, all kinds of things. Okay, so here's my little coil. I need to score the entire length of this coil. I wish I could put my video in fast forward for you, but I'm not that, I don't have the tools, the tech tools to do that right at the moment. So just bear with me. Now, once we scratch it one direction, we want to go and scratch it the other direction. Remember, this is not scratching. This is called scoring your pottery. Now, we want to know if this is the flat part of my pottery, then I want to know where I want this to sit. Okay, so I'm just going to, like I did before, create